You're watching Right Angle Production. Welcome to the first episode on India's digital success story. If I ask you about greatest tech or digital organizations of the planet, then you would probably think of Apple or Google or Microsoft or Adobe or Oracle. This list is a never-ending list of American tech giants, which are market leader in digital infrastructure and services and ecosystems. But being so powerful in terms of technology, the United States have not been able to pull off something which India had already achieved in recent past. The world is changing, so does the economy and the way of financial transactions. With the advent of online payment services, the transactions have evolved from low volume, high value to high volume, low value. This is not a minute change, rather, it is a paradigm shift in the global financial transaction system. The traditional transaction systems was not ready to handle this change, but India was very quick in sensing this upcoming challenge and felt a need to have a robust real-time online payment system, specifically to handle low value but high volume of transactions. India developed UPI for this. Many people believe UPI has something to do with 2016 demonetization, but no, it's not so. Demonetization definitely helped in quick adoption of UPI, but UPI was under development way before demonetization. UPI is not a standalone thing, it is actually a part of very ambitious project India Stack, which is also the premise of this video, and we shall talk about this in detail in later section of the video. So moving on, it would be factually incorrect to say that UPI is the first online transaction system in India. We had IMPS, RTGS and NEFT before UPI and were good enough to serve the purpose. But the convenience and possibilities which UPI brought in were tremendous. Right now USA is craving for FedNow, which is nothing but their version of UPI and is expected to go live in 2024. Just note, we already did that back in 2016. After establishing a very successful UPI application for India, Google is pushing hard on US to implement FedNow. And if you think only Google is interested in UPI, no, it's not so. ACI Worldwide, which is big American banking and payment facilitator, has already made strategic investment in MindGate, which is an Indian market leader in processing UPI transactions. Brazil and Mexico also seem to be interested and are studying our UPI system. Apps like Google Pay or PhonePe are not UPI. People consider them as UPI. In fact, these are the apps which are built on a platform and that platform is UPI. UPI is very successful and there are a couple of reasons for it. First of all, it was definitely better than pre-existing online payment services in terms of convenience or cost. But the most important reason was that UPI was made as an open API under India Stack project. This openness allowed companies to freely utilize it and make it a success. This open was not there in IMPS, RTGS and NEFT. UPI has already surpassed debit and credit cards in terms of transactions per month, and right now it is cruising at a speed of a billion transactions per month. Just a couple of minutes earlier I explained that UPI was made under India Stack project as an open API. So what's India Stack and what's open API? Guys with software background would probably know what's API and what does open stands for in software context. But for those who don't know, there's a simple analogy. There are many battery powered devices in our homes, such as TV remote, radio or wall clock. All of them have a very different utility, but all of them use cell batteries, and the purpose of cell batteries in all those devices is same, that is to supply power. Similarly, API is a kind of software code or algorithm which can be utilized by many software products, perform the same task for all the software products. Here in case UPI is an API owned by National Payment Corporation of India, and companies like Google and Flipkart have utilized to make or develop a software like Google Pay or PhonePe on it. Here the term open simply means free to use, thus anybody can use it, Google, Flipkart or anybody. Now coming to India Stack. India Stack is essentially a government project, but it has a very active participation from private entities. India's Tech is basically a set of open APIs which government, businesses, startups, or developers can utilize to solve various India's problems. UPI is only one of those APIs. There are many like eKYC, eSign, Aadhaar-enabled payment system, DigiLocker, etc. These APIs together fulfill the four targets of India's stack, which are also known as layers of India's stack. These layers are presenceless, paperless, cashless, and consent. No single entity owns this project. Different APIs are owned by different ministries and departments of government, and each of them contribute towards some layer of India's Stack project, and each of them solves some problem of India. India's Stack was an ambitious dream, but now it's no longer a dream, it's reality. All the legs of India's Stack has been implemented, and it is touching our lives and million other lives in India and making it a little better in some or other way. We are surely living in a strange and difficult times. COVID-19 has toppled the economies of almost all the countries. Today's time is the best example to demonstrate the power of India's stack. Right now, people need economic relief, and relief must be quick and precise. In India, thankfully, we do have a deep bank account penetration, 80% to be precise. Due to the Jan Dhan Yojana, many unprivileged labor, workers and farmers do have their bank accounts, thus they are part of a formal banking network. With India's tax Aadhaar-enabled payment system, governments can directly send the economic relief quickly, without any hassle and with a high degree of precision. The beneficiary does not need to wait outside government offices to collect cash. Just to put things in perspective, you need to know what US is doing. Americans are receiving $1,200 payment via checks sent in a mail, and many times due to postal issues, people haven't received them, some have received them twice, and even non-citizens have received it. So considering this, India looks in a very good condition in terms of digital infrastructure. Taking another example, a few days back, CBSE released their result and it was directly put on the DigiLocker, so students no need to wait for their physical copy of the result. This is even better than a website because here institutions don't need to put effort in maintaining a website. Just put the document on DigiLocker and rest DigiLocker API will take care. Consider one more example. Suppose you want a new SIM card. Nowadays there is no need to submit a attested copy of document. Just e-sign the document with a fingerprint at any recharge shop and that's it. You will get your SIM card. All the cases which I have mentioned by now are specifically about how India's stack is helping government bodies and governments. Here is a case to explain how India's stack can contribute in private businesses. Suppose there is a microfinance service provider. They gave out small loans. This service provider would surely need a system to authenticate customers and another system to collect and validate documents and another system to transact money. Developing all these systems from scratch would take a lot of time, infrastructure and manpower. APIs like eKYC, Aadhaar authentication, DigiLocker, eSign and UPI will make this service provider's life and job very easy. India Stack serves one more purpose. Suppose there are 10 different service providers and if they all start developing their own payment systems, then those payment systems won't be able to operate with each other. Just like you cannot directly send money from a Paytm wallet to a PhonePe wallet, but you can easily send money from a Paytm UPI to a PhonePe UPI. India's stack is a win-win situation for businesses, governments and consumers. Businesses don't need to make their own APIs and systems from scratch. Government can easily regulate the APIs as they are owned by government bodies and consumer can enjoy a seamless experience. And all these are done presenceless, paperless, cashless and with consent. In the era of social distancing and people being away from their usual addresses, being presenceless, paperless and cashless becomes even more important. Demonetization led the first wave, but COVID-19 will drive the second wave of success of India's stack. Whatever we have discussed so far sounds so nice, right? Does that mean there are no hiccups? Obviously no, there are challenges ahead. India's stack essentially works around the smartphone application which do not work on feature phone and need a internet connectivity to function. Here Ambani's Jio platform comes into the play. Google has recently made a strategic investment in Jio platform and is expected to develop a new OS for low priced 5G smartphone which is meant to replace feature phone. So this can open a new possibility for India's tech APIs to reach the crowd who are still using feature phones. India's tech, UPI and Aadhaar are India's digital success story. India missed the opportunity to ride the first three industrial revolutions, but this time India won't miss the fourth industrial revolution. India will not miss the internet and data revolution, and India is truly a data-rich democracy. On that note, let's wrap up the video. This is my first video. Your support is very important for this channel to grow. Please consider subscribing to my channel. My aim is to produce one such video per week, but since I'm a beginner, I'm a noob, so for now I'll try to produce at least one video per month. Please comment down below what you like about this video, what went wrong, how can I improve it, and topics which you would like me to cover. So please like the video. Thank you. Jai Hind, Vande Mataram.